Hey gamers, Rick here with Game Trade Media. We're at GAMA in Reno, Nevada. This is a big trade show where we get to see all the cool new stuff coming from the different game publishers. And speaking of which, we've got Justin DeWitt with Fireside Games here to talk to us about a couple games they've got coming out this year.
Yep.
What do we got right here?
Oh, this is the first one we're announcing. This is Remnants. This is a post-apocalyptic survival game, something a little different for us. The idea is, of course, it's post-apocalyptic, bad things have happened, and everyone has a compound that they're trying to build up because you're going to basically be racing each other for resources because it's after the apocalypse, there's a lot left. You're going to use those resources to buy development cards, and those are going to both beef up your compound and help you fight off the bad guys that are coming because there are threats that are coming. They're either crazy mutant creatures or wild and terrible raider people that are coming for you. You're going to fight two of those, then you're going to fight the boss, and at the end of the game, somebody's going to have the best compound and they're going to win the game.
Nice. So the game board is pretty cool. It's got, for everybody that can see it here, it's got this circle here, and around it there's these little, it looks like resources.
Yes, exactly. This is what's sort of left out there in what we call the Badlands. You've got your plastic, your cloth, your wood, your rope, and your metal. Those are what you're going to send your people out to get because those are the resources you're going to spend to buy development cards. But there's also on the edge here, this isn't just decoration. This dead city here is where you're going to send looters. So the way it works, the game's kind of fun because it's basically cut into three chunks. The first chunk is a real-time dice rolling resource gathering phase. So everyone's going to roll dice like mad to get these resources.
These beautiful dice.
All prototype dice, by the way. And then after that, it goes back to turn-based, and you'll do all your building and stuff. So the way it works at the beginning, everybody starts with a compound and a group of survivors that they have. They're survivors, then they decide how they want to send them out. So if you want to commit your survivors to the Badlands, they will be the ones bringing you back the resources. You obviously want to do that, but you might want to send a few people to go looting because looting is going to bring you back loot, which is part of your little player board there. Once everyone's done that, each player also gets 4 dice, all of which are identical, and you're going to take your 4 dice and you're going to roll them as fast as you can. Like if you and I were going against each other, it would be 1, 2, 3, go. And the idea is you want to get 3 of a kind. You can reroll in any combination you want. You can keep, you can bank, you can reroll. And as soon as you get 3 of that resource, you're going to take it from the Badlands and put it on one of your survivors. So you already got something?
I do. I have, what is this?
Plastic. That's an old plastic bottle. So, you would say plastic, and you take it and put it on there. And I would know there's now less plastic on the board. In a real game, the resources are equal to the number of players. So if they're in a 2-player game, there'd be more of these. But the idea is if I hear you say plastic, I know there's not much plastic left. So if I want any, I got to book it and reroll. Or I'm like, look, I'm so close to getting cloth or wood here. Oh, let's see if I can get cloth. Oh, this is not my day. I'm going to die out in the wood. There you go, cloth. I would take cloth, put that on my guy, of course, over there. So we're doing this race. Now, the trick is, stars are on here too. Stars are not wild. They are instead the bonus tokens. And if you notice, these face-down bonus tokens are out here. And this is done like musical chairs, where there's always going to be 1 less than there are players in the game. So the deal is, if you roll 3 stars and you want to, you can say, sweet, bonus token. You don't have to have a scavenger available. So these guys can be full of stuff, and I can still take a bonus token. But when you do, that ends your round. You can't, can't get any more resources. Once all the bonus tokens are gone, that ends the scavenging phase. So there's this idea of I could keep rolling, or I could just shut this down right now. And if you and I both shut down player 3 over there, it could get nasty. So there's a little bit of that going on. Then when that's done, that's the real-time phase. That part ends, we all can take a breath, and now you roll for looters. So one of the things about our dice, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but they've got both an icon for a resource and these little dots at the bottom, pips as we call them. Different pips on different sides, and you'll use the dice in 2 different ways. When you're scavenging for resources, it's all about the icons, but now that we're looting, it's about the pips. For each person you sent looting, you roll 1 die. The number of pips you get is how much loot you bring back. So I got 2 on this one. And your loot is these 3 tracks up here. You got medicine, screwdrivers, and what we call scrap. Medicine is going to be used to heal your scavengers because there are all sorts of bad things that will injure them. Injured scavengers can still be sent, but if they get injured again, they're dead. You don't want that to happen, so that's really bad. So you're going to want to heal with medicine. Screwdrivers basically let you buy extra pips. And yes, you could use pips to boost your loot. You can always use it for combat, which I'll get to later. And then the last one is scrap. Scrap is basically a wild. If I spend 2 scrap, assuming I've purchased 2 scrap, I can get 1 wild resource. So say you did beat me on all the plastic, but I got enough scrap, I can get a plastic by spending 2 scrap. So it's a nice way to mitigate the dice luck, basically. You can kind of adjust, and that's all based on how many people you sent and how high you rolled. You can also upgrade your people. There are specialists in the game. I didn't grab any, but basically they're specialists that do different things. One of whom gets more loot. One of them can bring back more resources. So there's things you may want to do. That does involve spending resources, though. So you got to spend to get. Nothing's free in the apocalypse.
But so what's the? You had a very funny tagline because you showed us your victory points.
Yes, victory points. As As most games are, there are points involved.
Yeah, they're very tiny. So on our cameras here, we're probably not going to be able to see them very well. But these are ketchup packets.
Yes, they are. They are. Because in the post-apocalyptic future, flavor is the most valuable commodity. So
I love it.
That's our victory points. We went round and round trying to figure out what to do. It's like, not coins. I know. Ketchup.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what you'll be getting your VP for. So that was the first phase of getting the resources.
Oh, man.
So now we bring back all our resources. So you did awesome. You got rope, you got plastic, whatever.
Yeah.
Then what's going to happen is there'll be a grid of 3x3 of these development cards. You can see it on the back.
On the back of the board here, or box here, you can see that the grid exists.
Yeah, it would be at the edge of the player board.
Yeah.
And that's the development grid, and you can buy from any of those rows. They are staggered in a level 1 card, level 2 card, level 3 card, which generally is going to be more expensive but also more powerful.
Sure.
You want to go for the expensive card right out the gate. If you have enough resources, go for it. Otherwise, you're probably buying the little stuff. Everything has a cost on top. Like in this case, if you wanted to buy the hammer, it's going to cost wood, metal, and then the asterisk just means one of anything.
One of anything,
So,
okay.
yeah. Some are more expensive. The crossbow's wood, 2 rope, and a plastic. And then everything does something. And these cards are split into 3 different categories. There's weapon cards, which are going to let you fight the bad guys when they show up.
Right.
There are defensive cards with these little blue shield icons that are also going to help you fight these guys in a different way. And then the last thing are specials. They don't have any icon like that. They're just going to break the rules somehow. Like for example, if I found a sale and I bought that sale, I'm now going to get 1 cloth for free every round.
Oh, wow.
So there's all sorts of fun stuff like that. You can get things that are going to let you re-roll for random resources, VP at the end of the game, purchase cards cheaper. All the crazy stuff is in the specials. The weapons and defenses are all about fighting these guys. So we do a turn-based thing now where we go around and everyone spends their resources to buy whatever card is available, and when you buy one, you're going to flip over another one. So you will always be the first to buy at least 1 card in the grid.
Okay.
So you're never totally at the bottom. Once everyone has bought everything they're going to do, I actually should back up and explain the dread track. Sorry. Little track on the edge of the board here. No one should worry about that, right? Wrong. If it moves up every turn. If it's on a gray space, nothing happens. You just know that the bad guys are getting closer. We call them dread cards. They're getting closer. When they hit a red one, though, everyone's going to have to fight the dread card. So after everyone has had their build phase where they buy the stuff, we check that, and if there's no battle, we just skip right back and do another round with a new first player, reset the board. But if we have to fight, we have to do a battle. Battles are done using your cards. If you didn't buy any cards, you are in a world of hurt. So you're going to want to bunker up. The way it works is first, we're going to do the defensive cards with the little shields. I don't know if you guys can see that at all.
Here, I'll take it right
here. There we go. So they got a little shield in the corner. This one I think has 2, if I remember correctly. What you do is you immediately just count up all the shields you have in front of you and subtract it from the health of the threat card. So the threat card up here is a glider. It's a guy throwing Molotovs from the sky. He's worth 5. So we've automatically knocked him down by 2.
Okay.
If we got him down to 0, we wouldn't even have to fight him, but we're not that lucky yet. Late in the game, you can do that if you have a whole bunch of defensive cards. Now it's time to fight. Your fight cards have a little fist. I'll let you hold that up. The fist just means that's how many dice you're going to get to roll when it's time to fight a guy. And again, you're going to count the pips. So that one has a single. If that's all I had was a single fist, I'd be rolling 1. Hey, I got a 2. But with my 2 and my 2, that's only 4, so I would lose. I need to get 5.
Right.
Every threat card has both an effect it brings into play. In this case, he actually would have canceled one of my defensive cards because he's flying over my walls. Then you get a reward if you beat him and a penalty if you fail. So in this case, I failed. The glider's going to injure 2 of my survivors, which now means that, there's nothing good in this game.
That's horrible.
Yes, it's terrible. So this is going to happen one time. We're going to play, again, each phase we're moving up the dread track. We're going to fight a level 1 bad guy. Then we flip over, oh no, a level 2, in this case, turtle bears, which are bears with giant turtle shells, because why not? Exactly. Then we get to the boss. There's 3 bosses in the game. You're going to draw one randomly. In this case, we got the Scream Queen. She's got 15 health. She's worth 4 VP if you kill her. She's got a lasting effect, and she has no bonus, only penalties. So if you beat her, you're going to get VP for killing her, but that's it. Otherwise, she's just going to punish you. And because I'm that kind of guy, every bad guy also comes with a boss power-up. Again, random. So every boss is going to be variable. Every time you fight them, they're going to be like different ways they're going to hurt you. There's even one guy who brings an extra power-up card, because I do like my players, honestly, I promise. So the thing is, we do this cycle of buying and building up and getting better and better and fighting the bad guys. Eventually, we fight the boss. Everyone fights the boss. So they see how they did. We score up all the points. You get VP for your cards that you bought, because they have ketchup packets on them. VP for every survivor you still have that's healthy. A little extra VP for your specialists if you upgraded. And then you get VP for combat, like I said, with that. And some cards will generate victory points based on like combinations of other cards, sets, things like that. So that is it. The whole thing plays in about an hour, and it's got this really interesting real-time thing up front, and then this fun little buying phase with a little bit of battle, real simple combat thing in the end.
Yeah, and it looks like you said, you're literally only going to have 3 combat phases.
Yep.
And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 build phases, basically.
Yeah, the first.
And plus, also the combat phases have.
The combat phase have build too. Yeah, so you're building up every turn.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, these look terrifying, but you can probably, if you're not too crazy, get this. And the nice thing is, there's a lot of different strategies in what you go for cards. I forget the exact number. It's on the back of the box. We have a ton of development cards. It should say. Like
37 development cards.
37 development cards. You will not see them all in one game, I can guarantee. And then there's 3 different bosses you're going to fight, 6 different threat cards, 6 different power-ups. So the combination of what you're going to face can be different almost every game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're very excited.
And it says here, the world has ended, our days are dust and sand. We build what we need to survive from the remnants of our old world.
There's the name right there.
Remnants right there.
See how we did that?
And this is going to be available when?
This is an Origins release for us.
Okay.
And the MSRP is $39.95.
Nice.
Plays 2 to 4 players. And like we said, it's about an hour your first game, maybe a little longer as you read all the cards and figure out what you want to do. But I've taught pretty much the internet how to play this game. So.
Yeah, just now.
Just now.
Great.
Boom. I left out 1 or 2 little surprises.
And so when it releases at Origins, it will also be available at your friendly local game store?
Yes. Yes, that is the plan. Full everywhere distribution. Yep.
Awesome. Very cool. So make sure that if this is something that you're into, if you like that Mad Max end of the world dystopia type event, which is pretty awesome and a lot of fun, then Remnants is for you. So go to your friendly local game stores, let them know that, hey, I saw this video.
I want this game.
I want this game.
I want the game with ketchup in it.
And please have it available when it is released in June. So check it out.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's check out the next one.
All right, scoot all this over and let me show you something completely different.
And now for something completely different.
Yes, thank you. I was going to do that in a few words, so I'm glad one of us got that in. All right, going to the other end of the stream, we have Grackles, which is an abstract strategy game, a lightly themed abstract strategy game. So some of you may be asking, what is this about? The grackles are a type of bird that are found throughout the southwest United States. They're very similar to a crow. They're very loud. They are very colorful. The males are like iridescent. They actually have almost like a rainbow pattern kind of thing. And one of the things they're famous for is just clogging power lines. They will absolutely line up in just these droves. And we have a game about lining things up in lines, and it just happens to have a bird theme going on.
Nice.
So there you go.
You can see on the back there.
Yes. So the game is also really, really simple to pick up and play, but there's some nice strategy hiding in there. We're super excited because this feels like kind of like a new classic to us. So the way the game works is each player would get a whole bunch of tokens that have their bird. The real tokens are going to be plastic. They look more like the ones on the back of the box. These are our mock-ups for GAMA. The real ones will just be like a little plastic chip in the 4 colors, black, purple, green, and blue.
Okay.
And then you'll also get 5 of these rotate tokens.
All right.
In this case, we like. Then you have these tiles. The game is made up of a series of tiles, all of which are similar but different in that they have the 4 player colors on them, but they're arranged in different orders. They're also connected with little power lines. And so there are 2 starting cards, which I don't think I grabbed. They have a little triangle on them that when you put together makes a square. Anyway, game starts with 2, and on your turn it is super, super easy. You get 1 action, and you can do 4. You have a choice of 4 things to do with that action. The first one would be play a tile, which was literally draw 1. That's a bird. Hang on, you're right though. That's what
I'm just ready.
I know you're so excited.
I'm
so
ready.
You grab a tile, flip it over, and you decide where it goes. Orthogonal only, no diagonal, and you can rotate it any way you want. And the idea is you're going to want to make lines of your bird. So since you're purple, and let's say this was your tile, you might want to do something like put it this way, because look at that sweet line you can make when you connect your purple birds. You could like fill that up. Of course, the thing is you only get 1 thing on your turn. So now it's my turn, and I know.
Wait, dang it! What?
I know it's terrible. So you only get 1 thing on your turn. So playing a tile is 1 thing. You can also lay birds down. For example, connect a line. Like if it was my turn, well, I'd really want to stop you from getting that huge line, but I could go connect, 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 connect. There's my green birds in a row.
Wait, that is an action in your turn?
That's 1 action. That's all I can do.
What?
Exactly. And then the next player would go. This game is super simple to learn.
So that means I could literally...
Yes, on your turn, you could do that monster line. I didn't even give you enough. Oh, I'm just barely enough tokens. Yes.
Perfect.
Which is why I probably wouldn't have done that. Because the other options you have are extend an existing line. So let's just, for the sake of argument, say I had done what I did before.
Right.
And let's say you would place this tile. I could come in and go, oh, sweet, I can extend my line. I don't actually have enough tokens, but it would have gone there. What you can't do is go off 90 degrees. You can only extend a line in the way it is. I could go off the front or the back, but I can't make corners. So and you're blocked by other birds, obviously. You can't cross a player's birds. The last thing you can do is if you have a tile with no birds on it, you can rotate it, which I probably would have done before you would have placed that monster line just to knock you down a little.
Right, so you would have rotated this to that.
Yeah, I probably would have moved that purple totally out of the way so you wouldn't even have had anything, because, you know, that's what I do.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, exactly. This game can get a little mean, but it's really fun. Now, the trick is rotating a tile requires one of your 5 tokens. Once you spent it, it's gone. So you can't get in a rotate war very long. You're going to just run out of rotates. So rotates are powerful. You want to use them at the right time, but they're very good.
Okay.
One of the neat things about it, too, is it's a floating board, meaning the board is going to max out at 5 by 5. But if you decide, oh, that 4 looks pretty good, let's start going this way. Let's start going this way. Oh, hey, I want to go this way. Eventually, somebody's going to lay the 5th, and now we know you can never play a tile on that side. We've locked our 5. So it's really fun to see how the board moves and who wants to go where and what tiles everyone's fighting for and all that.
So based on what you were saying earlier, if I already had a line, of birds here, can I then start a line this way?
You could put these 3 here because that connects, but it's technically that's a separate line.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like if you had, let's do it this way. That is not, you can't extend a line that way. It has to be in the direction it's already going.
Oh, very cool.
Which makes rotation very powerful.
Yeah, and it makes that strategy very important, and knowing when to use this.
Yes, they're very precious. How far do you want to go with them? Yeah,
very cool.
That is literally the entire game. At the end of the game, what's going to happen is all the tiles will be out, all the birds are going to be played, or at least you're not going to be able to make any more lines. When it's done, you add up all the birds you got on lines, whoever has the most wins.
Very cool.
That is it. It's one of those games that when we show this to people, they feel like, God, I feel like I grew up with this, but it's nothing like I grew up with, and it's got this really classical feel. It's also, oh yeah, easy. Second game, you're like, I have to do that totally different next time.
Right, yeah.
Like, I got creamed.
Yeah, your strategy is going to change. You know what it kind of reminds me of is, do you remember when you take graph paper and you put the dots?
Yes, and you had to connect the lines?
Connect the lines.
Right, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it kind of has that feel, and if anybody, I know people that still play it. My kids still play it. And I'm like, wow, thank God it's not on their phone. And
it's analog.
So I feel that might be where that relationship is coming in with that thought.
I feel like I've played it before. That's true. Yeah. It has that classic thing, but not quite. That may be it. It's like, gosh, this is familiar. Yeah.
I love it.
We're really excited about this one. This will be a Gen Con release.
Okay.
We'll be showing them to our retailer friends, of course. Our game night's tomorrow, so that's our thing there. But yeah, that is our plan for the year. So if you're interested at all, talk to your local game store. $39.95. Gen Con should be everywhere. So that's the plan.
And this game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, so absolutely a game you can sit down at the table with your family and have a wonderful game night and get everybody off their phones.
Yes, exactly.
And off social media.
Yes.
But now that we're speaking of social media, thanks for watching. Make sure you do go to your friendly local game store. Let them know you saw Grackles and that this is something you want to be able to play with your family and friends. And it'll be available in August, Gen Con release, as Justin said. And when you do get it, take that picture on your shelf. Let me see it and post those shelfies. We love seeing those. Justin, thank you so much for coming up and spending some time with us. Absolutely. Enjoy GAMA.
I will.
And everybody watching, there is going to be so much more content coming throughout this week. So just stay tuned here at Game Trade Media. So stay on social media, at least this week. And we'll be back real soon with another amazing look at some great stuff here at GAMA.
Thanks for watching Board Games and Beyond. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.